For me, Daido Moriyama's photos are like black coffee, but with a good pinch of black pepper in it. In short, different than others, and deeper than others. Welcome to the Fuji recipe, Daido. Daido Moriyama is one of the greatest legends in the world of street photography. He excites and inspires several generations of street photographers who all ask themselves the question, how can I photograph like Daido Moriyama? The simple answer is, only Daido Moriyama is able to photograph like Daido. Let me tell you some facts about the man who this recipe is dedicated to. In the 1960s, Daido Moriyama began taking photographs like no one before, not only in Japan, but worldwide. Moriyama didn't care about the planned composition of a photo. His photos were created out of impulse, often without looking through the viewfinder or looking at the screen of his camera. His way of working and his role as a pioneer of mainly black and white hard contrast street photography, or snapshot photography as it is called in Japan, will always remain unmatched. Daido Moriyama did also took color photographs, but was far more recognized for his black and white work. So this will be the focus of this video. So you can't copy a legend like him, but can you try to integrate the feeling and look of his works into your own photography? Yes, you can. I created a Fujifilm black and white recipe that is intended to convey the raw, direct and unadorned nature of Daido's photography. You can find the recipe right here. I'm currently in Turin in northern Italy and not in Tokyo, as you may have already noticed. The next videos will also be from Bella Italia. Please don't forget to follow me and activate the bell so that you don't miss any videos about street photography in the future. So let's jump right in. The goal of the Daido recipe is high contrast, grainy JPEGs straight from the camera without post-processing. The aim is not to achieve digital perfection, but rather to produce moody and subtle works of art thanks to the raw and analog look. Daido started his career with an analog Canon and maintained the direct, unadorned black and white look even when he started taking digital snapshots. In recent years, he has mainly been working with a Ricoh GR3. But as Daido once said, the camera doesn't matter how right he is. Nobody needs an expensive camera like a Leica to take amazing street photos. I tried to transfer Daido's signature look to Fuji by increasing the highlights slightly, making the shadows deeper, turning on grain and turning down the noise reduction. Did I succeed? I don't know, but I look forward to your comments. I'm using an arm wrist for my Fuji X100V so that, like Daido Moriyama, I always have the camera at hand. And don't get too comfortable and dangle the camera around my neck or just put it in my pocket. Because of the short moments it takes to get the camera out of the bag, I've missed a lot of good shots in my life. I usually only stow the camera away when I'm in dangerous areas or somewhere where photography isn't allowed. Daido Moriyama photographs everything: posters, power cables, homeless people, stray dogs. There are no stray dogs in northern Italy, here in Turin, and I don't want to photograph homeless people, and the power cables are very hidden here. But posters and reflections are to be found here in Italy like in Japan. The ways of composing photos with reflections are endless and beautiful. In general, I'm not interested in copying Daido Moriyama. That's not possible. He's just far too good for that. But I think that his high contrast black and white look, which was established by him in the 60s and 70s, is simply brilliant, especially for cloudy days. If I'm shooting in bright sunlight, I simply set the aperture compensation to -1 stop for this recipe. Otherwise, as an exception, I actually shoot completely in automatic mode. This also means that the exposure time for some photos is too long and the subjects are a bit blurry, but this contributes a lot to the desired effect, in my opinion. More feeling, less technical perfection. There was no post-processing. All photos you see are unedited JPEGs straight from the camera. To be honest, I'm pleasantly surprised. Some of the photos actually look like they're straight from the 1960s. So in recent years, there has been a noticeable trend in street photography that it is less about sharpness and technical perfection, but rather that people are rediscovering the more moody analog photography, or at last trying to simulate it digitally. I think that's quite doable with this Fujifilm recipe. Of course, this recipe doesn't make a Daido Moriyama out of anyone, and that's a good thing. The goal should be to become an original and not a copy of something or somebody that already exists. Well, being a good street photographer is easy and difficult at the same time, as you all may know, and Daido puts this in his famous quote, "Get outside." It's all about getting out and walking. That's the first thing. The second thing is forget everything you've learned on the subject of photography for this moment and just shoot. Take photographs of anything and everything. Whatever catches your eye. Don't pause to think.